Hi and welcome to this video where I'm going to be looking at how the past has been recorded for the movements of the markets and what we can do to see how it forecasts the future. You want to get yourself a copy of this. So what is this? It's the period when to make money. Would you believe it was made in 1875? This was drawn up by a Samuel Benner. He was a farmer, but he understood the cycles of the markets, and this is crucial. And that's why I'm going to take you through every step. I'm going to go through the last 3-4 cycles, show you how accurate this is. Bear in mind, it was predicted 150 years ago, and it is within 1 year of the very last pandemic. And I'm going to show you exactly what that's about. Before I get started in the video, I'd really love to know where you're watching this video from. Where are you in the world? I just want to say a big thank you to all my supporters, all my viewers. I know there's a massive audience base in India, of all places, which I want to say thank you very much for watching. I really hope you're enjoying the videos and subscribe. So if you can, before we get started, drop a comment down below which country you're viewing this from. I'll start. I'm doing this from the UK, so that's why my content is mostly geared towards the UK market. I know there's a large audience over in the States and other places. Do drop a little comment which country you're watching this from. I'm just really interested to know, and just so I can pass a big thank you to all. Okay, so let's roll on. So who is this Samuel Benner? Well, he was just a farmer and he understood how these cycles worked. He understood that financial, like anything in the world, goes through cycles. You would have highs, you have lows, and bits happen in between. Not always big events, but this is when it's drawn out in a chart. Very easy to see. At the first impression, it does look rather complicated, but I'm going to go through step by step. The most important part are these, the A years. A years are years when panics happen. You may be very familiar. We've just come out of one. That's COVID-19. So let's come up to that. COVID-19. And let's see how that hit the markets. So let's go through these three main criteria down the side, which is the A years, which are the years where panics have happened. That typically involves a big worldwide event. Then you have the B years. These are good years where you might want to consider selling off early. And the reason that is because something is going to be happening soon. And then you have the C years. The C years are when bargains are being held. That's when you normally see the bottom of a market, a bit of a trough, end of a recession, those types of events. I'm going to have a look through the recent episodes. We have the panic years of 1981. That was the UK big recession, and that encouraged a huge downturn around the world. Then we had another panic in 1999. That was a dot-com bubble, when everything was overhyped and there was a massive collapse. Year 2K panic, if you may remember, everyone was using Microsoft, everyone worried about work. Oh my goodness, we go past year 1999, how are computers going to work? There was a massive panic around the world. All computers and everything was just going to stop. In the end, everything happened as normal. So that was that one. The most recent one, 2019, we had the COVID-19, highlight the name, COVID-19 happened in 2019. The effect of that wasn't seen until the year 2020, the year later, because of the effect of how big this pandemic was going to be, and the panic really started to set in. But we're going to give him that. Bear in mind, remember, 150 years ago this was made, and it is pinpoint perfect. That gives me a very clear indication as to how you want to try and look at the market and be reasons to be optimistic. The next panic, I'm not a predictor writer, the next panic will probably be around 2035. We have 11 years before the next big panic. Good years, let's have a little look at some of these. So what's some of the recent ones? 1980, we're going to keep it more recent in the last 25 years. So look at 1999. The good years there, we had it before the dot-com crash. The dot-com crash was when everything was hyped, everything on the internet, everything's huge, everything started to get overpriced, and there was a massive crash. But if you'd have sold out in 1999, you'd have done very nicely. You'd have pulled out before a 30% crash in the markets. That's why it was a very good year. The next year, 2007. 2007, we had the big banking crisis, 2007, 2008. That's when the Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. That was a big financial crisis that happened. That was a crash of around 20-25% that year. Again, if you'd have sold out in 2007, you'd have secured your profits without suffering that downturn. The most recent good year to sell was 2016. 2016 was before the oil price collapse. Actually went negative at one point. People were being paid to take oil. That was a good year to sell out before the collapse. The next year coming up, 2026, that's only 2 years away, another downturn. That will be a perfect opportunity to sell if you wish to. If you're looking at timing the market, get in now before and ride the next 2 years. In 2 years, you can enjoy the benefit of this upward trajectory where prices are going at the moment. If in 2 years it collapses 20, 40%, you're still in profit from what you invest today. And if you regularly invest, you will be better off than you were before. C years are the bargain years, when to buy when prices are lower. We're going to have a look here. Go back to 2005. 2005 was after the Gulf War. Things started to recover, particularly around World War events. Always a couple of years after a war, things start to settle and the economy starts to recover, but they're really good years to invest and pick up some bargains. The next year, 2012, that was after the Euro crisis. That was after the big ripples in the Euro financial markets. After the Euro crisis, it took 3 years to recover from that. If you'd have bought in at that in 2012, you'd have ridden a rise of 40% in just 3 years. That's very similar to the last year. And here we are, the last year, 2023, is marked here as a good year. So if any time was good to invest, that was last year. The next best time is today, before we have the next downturn. Okay, so with this all in mind, we have a bargain year last year. We have a good year, 2026. Then we have a small downturn again to 2032. That's not actually that far away. And that'll be another bargain year. So if you're waiting for the market to come down, it may not come back to today's prices. That's why everyone sitting on the fence, I'm waiting for things to come, I'm waiting for things to crash. You're going to be waiting a long time looking at this. You see how accurate this has been. And this will happen before the next big panic. Panics, you can buy your way through. It's about keeping your emotions under control as an investor. You are looking at long term. So we're going to look through how, if you invested £1,000 back in 1992, just to see how your money value would have held through these cycles. That's why it's very relevant to the chart I just showed you from Samuel. So some of the years we had, 1999 with the dot-com bubble, you can see just here, this big decline. That was the dot-com bubble in the year 2000. And here the dot-com crash. Then we have the downturn before the Gulf War. That was a bargain year we just mentioned on there. That was a C year, which is a bargain year after the second Gulf War. Then we see that rose all the way up to when we had 2008, the big banking crisis that happened and the collapse of many, many financial institutions. We saw this big downturn again. Then we see a nice recovery come back up towards 2012, exactly the year that we mentioned, when the Euro crisis happened. Then we have a small downturn, another big upturn, another collapse. Then we have the collapse to when the oil prices dropped dramatically. That was a bargain year for buying into stocks and investing. Then we can ride this all the way up. See, we had some small setbacks, but continuously started to rise up to the 2020 global 19 pandemic. Then that did drop like a stone. But if you held your nerve, hold your investments, you're still massively up after all these years from a one-off investment. You'd be even better off if you're regularly investing in the markets. That's why if you dollar cost average, the whole reason behind dollar costing is you ride through these ups and downs. If you commit for the long term, maybe 10, 20, 30 years, dollar cost average, invest £100 a month, or of that nature, $100 a month, $200 a month, every single month. You're not only buying when these are high, you're buying when these are extremely low. Over the long term, your average is going to be far better and make your investments work for you. That's why I tie all these together. History is written, forecast is written. Are we living in fate? I don't know. But these are very good reasons to see optimism and why the next 2 years are going to see nothing but growth, and all good reasons to be optimistic about where to invest and how to invest. You could make a general decision to start investing. Just make a decision to start. Stop procrastinating, stop putting it off, Don't just sit on the fence. You're going to get splinters in your bum. So just get on with it. Make a start. Making a start, you will learn as the journey goes, but keep going. That's the important message here. Keep going. Follow the chart. The chart has been here for 150 years, and it goes on for another 150 years if you follow the same cycle. It's a very simple concept. You can see my other videos up here where I'll take you step-by-step guide how to start with £100 and become a millionaire in 33 years. But you can see with this kind of growth line, it's really not that difficult. And actually, it's not a long time for your investing cycle. So with all that said, that's all I've got for you today. So I hope you've enjoyed the content. Please give us a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't forget, hit the all and then you'll receive the notification when I release the next video. Okay, don't forget in the comments, right where you're viewing this from. I'd really love to find out. And just a big thank you to everybody again. Until next time, take care.